Hi, I'm B. Subramaniam. My project title is Information Sharing Using Temporary Access Control Policy. The main aim of this project is to propose an access control model to enforce control information sharing in emergency situations. Synopsis. The natural catastrophic events, for example floods, earthquakes, hurricanes and man-made disasters, terrorist attacks, nuclear accidents, highlight the need for a more efficient emergency management. Indeed, during an emergency, there is often the need to access resources that are not allowed during the normal system operations. However, such downgrading of object security classification should be controlled and temporary. The existing system of the project. Many models have been proposed in literature in support of fine-grained access control, for instance models derived from ABAC or the XACML standard. The remarkable model supporting fine-grained access control in the healthcare domain is C-TMAC. This approach allows team-based access control by also integrating contextual information. Proposed system. Propose an access control model to enforce control information sharing in emergency situations. Our model is able to enforce flexible information sharing within a single organization through the specification and enforcement of emergencies policies. Emergencies policies allows the implementation of temporary access control policies, which is also called as TACP, that override regular policies during emergency situations. The model description of a project. We have few models: user vital signs, creation of temporary access control policy TACP, emergency activation, deactivation. User vital signs. Patients are hospitalized at home, in a special clinic or in a hospital. Each of these structures provides patient treatments through specialized equipment able to ensure a real-time monitoring of a patient vital signs. Creation of temporary access policy TACP. A TACP template is a tuple which has subject, object, priv, CTX, OBL with the following semantics. In case the obligation OBL is not null, it denotes a set of actions that must be fulfilled every time an authorized user exercises previous on the objects denoted by object. We choose this model because we need to identify users by their roles, for example doctor, patient and so on, as well as the specify attribute based on condition. Therefore, in our proposal, a subject specification subject is a pair, where the first is a set of unauthorized roles and the second is a condition related to the user profile attributes. Emergency activation, deactivation. Once a CEP server receives a tuple triggering an init event, this is immediately sent to the emergency handler. The emergency handler retrieves from the emergency repository the emergency related to the received tuple, if any. Moreover, the emergency handler retrieves from the TACP template repository templates related to the activated emergency, if any, by also creating the corresponding TACP instance. If this is in case, the corresponding emergency and the TACP instance are deleted. The software specification of the project. Windows XP, JDK 1.6, JSP and Servlet, Tomcat Server 6, MySQL, Android, XAMPP. The hardware specification of the project. Hard disk 40 GB and above, RAM 512 MB and above, processor Pentium 4 and above. The architecture of a project. We have user repository, access control handler that will be monitored by the user, and the main aim of the CPE server performs emergency handler by the emergency repository and the repository to be forwarded to the emergency policy head and emergency manager. The use case diagram of a project. We have the actor of a patient and doctor and nurse perform vital signs, CEP server, emergency or normal, emergency description, emergency deletion operations. The activity diagram of a project. Have performed the activation by patients to the CEP server by the following normal or emergency situations. That will be forwarded to the TACP ID, that will be moved to the nurse followed by a doctor. Sequence diagram of a project. We have patients and CEP server, emergency, TACP, nurse and doctor performing the following operation of vital signs, checking, creation ID, emergency description, deletion and ID deletion and emergency deletion. Systems for the timely screens. This is a project screen page of an emergency system. This is the CEP server page. This is a registration for a new patient. This is the login page of a new user, which contains ID and password. Perform complex event processing, it is CEP. This is the value which is given by the user. This is the entire emergency description of a project. The emergency policy ID and its TACP ID. This is the emergency description of an entire user and as well as a doctor description. This is the processing page of a project which is done by the emergency side. Conclusion. In the project, we proposed an extension of the emergency access control model presented with the possibility of defining administration policies. Moreover, we have implemented an extended version of the prototype presented and we have carried out an expensive set of tests to check what is impact of emergency policies into access control system. We plan to extend this work along different directions. Thank you.